U.S. stocks rallied on Wall Street today, despite inflation rising to its highest level since January. The latest report adds to the growing concern about the affordability of elder care and child care, with costs spiking last month, according to one lead economist. KPMG chief economist Diane Swank tells ABC News the immigration crackdown has worsened already critical shortages of caregivers.
Elder care went up at its fastest pace for one single month on record. That is where immigration plays an outsized role in filling those jobs in home elder care.
An update today in that massive explosion that killed at least 16 people at a factory in Tennessee earlier this month. Jamie Van Fleet is ATF Nashville special agent in charge and says they still have not determined a cause.
Until that time, until information is confirmed, I will not speculate on the cause of the explosion or comment on a potential cause, except to say, at this point, there is no indication of a threat to public safety.
Officials say at least 24,000 tons of explosives went off during the blast. 2 people have still not been located. And Alaska Airlines says it's still working to restore normal operations after yesterday's major IT outage. The airline says more than 400 flights have been canceled as of midday today, disrupting travel for nearly 50,000 people. Officials blame the outage on a technical issue at a data center. I'm Mike Dubusky, ABC News.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. Ever wonder why Big Wireless wants you on an unlimited plan? They probably want you to cover the cost of those 20-somethings using all that data every month. But most people 50 and up like me only use 12 gigs or less. Don't get bamboozled by Big Wireless. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Our plans start at just $20, and we use the same towers as the big guys. Join the millions who choose something better, because if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
News Talk 610 AM and 102.1 FM. KBNU.
It's now 4:05 on this beautiful Friday afternoon as we finish off the work week with sunny skies, but a chance of some showers coming for the weekend. We'll get to your weather forecast coming up in just a minute. Of course, we also have Logan High football coming up in the next hour. As Logan faces off against Richfield. We'll get to the pregame show beginning right about 4:50 here on KBNU. Well, our top stories this afternoon, Utah's public school enrollment dropped by over 11,478 students this fall. Now, that marks the largest single decline in the last 25 years. Now, this historic downturn is the third consecutive annual decrease, resulting in a loss now of over 18,339 students during the last 3 years. Now, according to new state numbers, the state now has 656,311 K-12 students. Now, that's a figure that could lead to school closures, dramatic funding cuts, and staff layoffs. Now, State Superintendent of Education Molly Hart attributed the trend to smaller birth counts, also slowing in migration, and increased school choice, including the Utah First Fits-All voucher program. Now, the loss was widespread, with 14 to 15 largest traditional districts reporting declines of over 1%. Salt Lake City, Granite, and Washington County school districts saw drops of 4.5%. Now, despite the overall decline, though, students of color now represent a slightly higher percentage of K through 12, with now at 31.2%. Of course, the state does not currently track the demographics of students using the new voucher program. Meanwhile, a 23-year-old Cornish man was arrested earlier this week following an alleged domestic dispute where he is accused of assaulting his partner and causing property damage. Daniel Aguirre was booked into the Cache County Jail and has been charged with first-degree felony aggravated kidnapping, third-degree felony aggravated assault, and several misdemeanors. Now, according to a probable cause affidavit, the alleged victim reported that after she accidentally broke a kitchen table, Aguirre grabbed her by the hair, dragged her, and then choked her. The woman managed to escape into a bathroom, but Aguirre allegedly kicked the door until it broke off the hinges before he left. Now, deputies later arrested Aguirre after observing the damage at the home. Due to the severity of the charges, Judge Brian Cannell on Wednesday ordered Aguirre to remain jailed without bail, pending his next court appearance coming up next week. Meanwhile, a 47-year-old Pocatello man dying early this morning following a single-vehicle crash that happened near Pocatello along I-15. Now, the crash occurred at about 2 a.m. near milepost 70. The driver, operating a Mitsubishi 300 GT, veered to the right, then struck the guardrail, went over it, and collided into an overpass pillar. Now, the driver, who was wearing a seatbelt, was transported by ground ambulance to a local hospital where he later died from his injuries. So far, his identity has not been released. And Logan Parks and Recreation will be hosting its inaugural Broom, Sticks, and Boogie Witches Dance and Halloween Festival coming up tomorrow afternoon from 5 to 8 o'clock at the Carolyn Jimlaw Plaza on Main Street. Now, the free event will feature a variety of family-friendly activities. The festival is, of course, the highlight will be the annual Witches Dance, which has been a popular Logan tradition where dozens of local women dressed as sorceresses will perform. Now, the troupe will dance at 6:37 and 7:30 and will be available for photos with children from 5:30 to 6:15. Now, the agenda will also include live music from the band Haywire, food trucks, crafts, and even the Anderson Seton Garden Cemetery Scramble. Now, a Halloween costume contest will be held for the youngsters, followed by a decorated pumpkin contest, and then the evening will conclude with a free showing of the movie Monster House at the Utah Theater, beginning at 8 o'clock. Of course, a lot of Halloween events going on this weekend. Trunk or Treat taking place at Young Toyota and Young Honda tomorrow. That starts at 6 o'clock, continues until about 8 o'clock or until the candy is gone. It's one of the biggest trunk or treats in northern Utah. It's right between Young Toyota and Young Honda at 1855 North Main. It looks like weather's going to be great for Halloween events taking place today and tomorrow. But as we head towards Sunday, well, we'll see colder temperatures and a chance of some showers headed our way. Now, it's been in the low 60s today. Tomorrow we'll be back into the low 60s with overnight temperatures tonight in the mid-30s. Then heading into Saturday night, and Sunday we'll start to see a chance of some showers and then turning into a mix of rain and snow possible for Monday. And bringing you our weather this hour is Dr. Keith Nilsson, offering board-certified orthopedic surgery and experience in treating sports injuries and arthritis. Plus, also, he can take care of knee pain with his Omnibotic knee replacement system. You can get more information by visiting his website, drkeithnilsonortho.com. And I'm Will Feelright with your KVNU News headlines. KVNU's For the People show with Jason Williams is coming up next here on KVNU.
Hi there. We're your new neighbors, the Voles. I'm Horrible, and this is my wife, Terrible. Hi! It's been such a great summer, we gotta have an army of children. Now we're fixing to tear up your yard. The only warning sign of us is some surface tunneling holes, and then boom! Yard death! What do you think? Should we get started, Ma? Yep. These guys aren't gonna call it troops at Logan Extermination.
Voles are a problem. They can tear up your lawn and garden. But there is something you can do. Call Logan Extermination at 752-8450.
Hey, get prepared for the hunting season. Did you remember to bring your hunting gear, your sleeping bags, and coats into Mount Logan Laundry? With their 55 and 80-pound washers and dryers, they can do any job. And while you're at it, bring in the comforters and blankets and get ready for the colder months ahead. Try Mount Logan Laundry. For a few quarters, you can use their large-capacity washers and dryers and be done in no time. Free Wi-Fi and drop-off service. They're at the corner of 5th East and 9th North in Logan, or in Brigham on the corner of 1st East and 7th South. Mount Logan Laundry really is the cleanest spot in town.
KVNU's For the People with Jason Williams and Bill Walter.
And it is Utah known as the fraud capital of the world. Not because we have more people committing fraud, but because we have so many people falling for it.
Going beneath the headlines and connecting you to the newsmakers.
The radio is a great way to get the word out to a lot of people in an emergency. So we thank you for your help and being a partner with us.
For the People on News Talk KVNU, 610 AM, 102.1 FM, online at 610kvnu.com, and on the KVNU mobile app.
Welcome to KVNU's For the People. It is Friday, October 24th. I'm Jason Williams. Just a reminder, a very short For the People show today. Coming up around 4:50, just a few minutes from now, we will hand the reins over to high school football pregame. This is part of basically an entire day of high school sports playoff and championship coverage here on KVNU and other stations at the radio group this week. Started out this morning with the Ridgeline and Snow Canyon 4A Girls Soccer Championship, and then about an hour ago, about 15 minutes ago, Skyview and Juan Diego in the first round of the 4A football playoffs kicked off on the Fan, 106.9 FM, 1390 AM. That started just about 10 minutes ago, that game. Here on KVNU, coming up again at 4:50, pregame starts for the 5 o'clock kickoff for Logan at Richfield in the 3A football playoffs. That's again here on KVNU, 102.1 FM, 610 AM. And then an hour later, 5:50 p.m., pregame for the Mountain Crest versus Uinta kickoff in those 4A football playoffs. That game will start at 6 on 107.7 FM. Green Canyon backing up there, with Desert Hills, first round of the 4A football playoffs as well. That's also pregame at 5:50 with kickoff at 6 on 100.9 Light FM. And finally, Bear River at Timpanogos, first round of the 4A football playoffs as well. Pregame at 5:50, kickoff at 6 on 104.9 The Ranch in Box Elder County. So there's your whole high school football playoff and girls soccer championship lineup there. And again, that means we will wrap up early today with our show ending around 4:50 this hour for the pregame. And again, kickoff at 5 o'clock for that Logan at Richfield 3A football playoff game here on KVNU. So in the news this week, Wednesday, an announcement from the Department of Workforce Services here in Utah that SNAP benefits will not be issued this month, in the month of November, for the 80,000 Utah households that depend on them. For those not familiar, SNAP is Supplemental Nutritional Assistance Program, a federally run program distributed by states, also known, I think, more often as the Food Stamps Program. Serves about 86,000 Utah households. That's an estimated 180,000 individuals. And Agriculture Secretary Brooke Rollins told reporters last week that the program would basically run out of money in 2 weeks. It was a surprise then when Department of Workforce Services said, well, she was wrong. It wasn't 2 weeks, it was one. And this Wednesday announced that in November, the SNAP, the money for SNAP would not come for those families here in Utah in need. This was a big part of the legislative session earlier this year. Lawmakers debated quite some time over a bill that changed some of the SNAP requirements, SNAP food eligibility definitions, basically saying that if you are on SNAP, if you're using SNAP for food for your family, you can't buy sugary drinks and sodas and things like that. So the state gets a lot of say over this, but the money in the end comes from the federal government. And Utah House Speaker Mike Schultz, a Republican from the Hooper area, called the loss of benefits a stark reminder of federal dysfunction and how it hurts Americans and Utahns. The reason he said that, this is due to the government shutdown, the first program to be most directly affected by this. But the money is on hold at the federal level, and so Utah Department of Workforce Services says they cannot offer services. The Utah Food Bank was quick to respond and say, we can't fill this gap. You're talking 86,000 families who rely on food stamps each month here in Utah, 180,000 individuals, and the organization, which serves 309 pantries around the state, said they're already stretched thin, as they traditionally are in the lead up to Thanksgiving anyway. They said, we can't cover this gap. Jeanette Bott, president and CEO of the Utah Food Bank, expressed deep concern about the impact of halted benefits. She said, our numbers are already very high before this announcement. Food banks, food pantries throughout the state cannot be expected to absorb the magnitude of food need out there and the requests from those families that we're going to see. We can't pick that up. We can help, but we certainly can't entirely fill the gap. And she said, we need donations now more than ever. With this in mind, this news this week, we had a chance recently to talk with the CEO of the Cash Food Pantry, Matthew Whitaker. Now, again, this was before the surprise announcement that SNAP benefits won't come in November for, again, 180,000 Utahns, 86,000 households that depend on SNAP for food on the table each day. And Matthew said, this is already a tough time of year for food pantries.
It's that time of year when people start to look ahead to the Christmas season and wonder where the money's going to come from. So we're in it.
Sure. And most of us are, have the luxury of taking this kind of thing for granted. We, as I put my garden to bed for the fall and winter, like many people out there, we're not concerned about, okay, now that food is gone, where are the 3 meals a day for the kids going to come from? But there are thousands of families here in Cache Valley that temporarily or long term are in this situation, and that's where you come in, right?
Yeah, we do our best, and your numbers are right spot on. We're serving about 1,600 families a month.
Wow.
And they see us twice a month, so times 2, and then we almost serve that many more through other agencies, like your senior citizen centers. We have a satellite pantry over in Garden City. We have other agencies such as CAPSA, Bear Mental Health, Common Ground Outdoor Adventures, to name a few, that also come down and take food for their clients as well.
That is... And again, this is all a volunteer effort, running as a nonprofit. The Cache Community Food Pantry, as Matt has just told us, serving more than 1,600 families each month. That is huge, and none of this would happen without community support. Matt, we've talked about this many times. Of course, the drop-off location, 359 South Main Street, is a great place where if you have extra canned goods, even extra produce out of your garden right now, things like that, you can go help. But Matt, you always like to stress that the food pantry has connections, and you can buy more with $1 than most people could going to the grocery store. So you welcome cash donations, right?
Yes, that's correct. We're nonprofit. We don't have to pay the taxes on it, and then we work with grocery stores, and they'll buy it for us at their cost. So we can save that even a little bit further. So we can stretch your dollar farther than you can. If you want us to do the shopping, we're happy to do it.
For listeners out there, you or anyone you know in your community who might benefit, you can apply for assistance at cachefood.org. But for most of you listening, there is right at the top a Give Help link where you can learn how you can get involved, volunteering your time, making a donation directly through the website, or even better yet, making an ongoing donation, a monthly donation, so they know how much of a budget they have to count on each month. And Matt, I also see topping the list here of ways that people can help right now with kids back in school. You're inviting everyone in Cache Valley to be a part of your backpack program. Can you tell us about that?
That's correct. The backpack program is a program that helps children on the weekends who are struggling, and both their parents are gone at work. They have something at home that they can quick and make something easy to open items, doesn't require any cooking, and we give them enough for 2 breakfasts and 2 lunches to help get through the weekend. And this is a program that people can be a part of and donate their time rather. And they don't have to be at the pantry. They can do this at their own convenience, at their own place.
Wow.
And bring that down to us when you're finished. And we're actually working on a new video right now that's going to explain this in greater detail. We're going to post it up, put it out on social media so that anybody interested in this can take a look at that and see exactly what they can do to be a part of it.
That is very cool. And this is simple stuff like, packets of raisins and applesauce and cereal and Pop-Tarts, oatmeal packets for breakfasts. And then lunch, mac and cheese cups, crackers, salty snacks, granola bars, and more. This is kind of most people I talk with, Matt, seem to not be aware that this is a larger problem than most of us think here in Cache Valley, right? Kids going home for the weekend, both parents working full-time jobs to meet the bills. And oftentimes that means kids are skipping at least one meal throughout the weekend, right?
That's correct. This is something we're doing about 350 of each breakfast and lunch each week. So that gives you a little bit of the scope of what we're doing, and it's costing us around $70,000 a year to do this. And so if the community can help us with this, we're really asking for help with that.
You can save them some money by volunteering your time. If you don't have time, you can donate money to help them with the work of the other volunteers. And again, as Matt just mentioned, hundreds of families, hundreds of children in need here in Cache Valley. There is a fun video there now. Matt, you say you've got a new one coming. The video at cachefood.org kind of explains how this program works. But if someone out there listening wants to get involved and help, you say they don't even need to come down on site to help. Where should they start?
Well, if they want to work with the backpack program, they just need to look at that video or call us and we'll help explain what that's done. If you have a budget, you can go to the grocery store, you can purchase the bags and the items that go in it. The video will show you exactly what to do with it, how to package it. Then when you're done, you just simply bring them down to the pantry. You can do this at your home, your place of work, your church. It's very flexible with how it's done.
That is, and you encourage that, right? With the holidays in mind, a lot of us are going to be gathering as families, and this is actually a fun family activity. You can get your whole extended family involved in going out and doing sort of like a scavenger hunt, doing the shopping. Then you get the family together and you put the backpacks together. And you can do this with your coworkers, as you mentioned, your church group. You can get people in your neighborhood together, or just individually, and help them out quite a bit. This is a really creative program, Matt.
Yeah. And speaking of businesses, for example, we just had Young Honda and Toyota down, and Schreiber's was down helping us put these together as well.
Really?
So if you want to get a company together, bring them down or do it at your place.
That is
for everybody to serve.
That's right. You have some permission from me, Jason at KVNU here. Go pressure your boss. Tell them they need to do this. It would look good for the business, and get everybody down there spending some time. And this is very cool stuff. And again, simple things. Granola bars, packets of applesauce, fruit snacks, oatmeal packets. These are random snacks in our pantries to most of us. But hundreds of kids out there in Cache Valley, this is the difference between skipping a meal or not. And Matt, I know that you're not a person in the research arena when it comes to children and education, but we do know that kids that don't eat don't learn, right?
Yeah, it's hard to learn, hard to concentrate when your stomach's talking back to you.
Sure. So all the incentive you need. Cachefood.org again for more on this. And Matt, back to the holidays. I know every year is different, and I know there are a lot of unpredictable things for all of you there at the Food Pantry. But as we head into the holidays, for those out there listening, where is the need the greatest at the Food Pantry? If people have time or money or even product to drop off, where is the greatest need right now? Or what is the greatest need?
Well, as far as donations go, if somebody wants to go to the grocery store and purchase things, we're looking for anything to do with Thanksgiving-related items, Christmas dinner-related items. And then there's always, year-round, there's always some items that are just not donated at all. I mean, we get a ton of peanut butter donated, but very little jam is donated, for example. Canned fruit. We get a lot of canned vegetables, but not much canned fruit. And then cereal, canned meats are another item. And then always baking goods. People have their special occasions, their birthdays, their holidays they want to cook for, so they're always asking for flour, sugar, cooking oil, chocolate chips, marshmallows, things like that. And then if you want us to do the shopping for you, donate financially. Get online at our website. You can donate there. We do take Venmo. It's at cash-food if you like to use Venmo. But any way you'd like, it would take your time, too.
Sure. Always need for volunteers, of course, and as we've said as well, a good reminder that the Food Pantry staff can make, because they're a nonprofit, they can purchase food in bulk, tax-free, make $1 go a lot further. So if you don't feel like shopping, it's amazing what the Food Pantry can do with $10, or a recurring donation of $10 every month is huge, and thousands of families in need here in Cache Valley. And Matt, I know a lot of times without the Food Pantry to provide these services, there isn't really a backup for a lot of these families, right?
That's right. I mean, we provide a backup for food stamps, for example. So if somebody goes down and they don't qualify, our income limit's a little bit higher, so we provide that safety net right there. But beyond us, it's just there's not much option.
That is one of the most important things you can do with your money and your time this fall, whether it's shopping and then dropping off at their location in downtown Logan. or if it is donating money or your time, getting the family or your office together to be a part of this backpack program, putting these kits together for kids in schools so they don't go home on the weekends and go hungry. Many different ways you can help, and this is the time of year when the help is most appreciated and most needed by these families, by these kids, and by everyone at the Cash Food Pantry. So, Matt, a pleasure to be able to spotlight this on the show today. And please, if we can get the word out on anything at all, let us know. But appreciate you taking some time for KVNU today.
Well, thank you. I sure appreciate it for the opportunity to be here.
And again, this need is intensified. The announcement this week from Utah Department of Workforce Services that the federal money that last week, when a federal spokesperson for the program said would take 2 weeks to run out, it ran out a bit quicker. I'm not sure what that's all about, but this impacts 86,000 households here in Utah, 180,000 individuals, most of them children, and those SNAP benefits will not be available for them throughout the month of November. The month of December is up in the air as well with the government shutdown. So, I'm assuming it will be over by then. I don't know. Who can predict anything at the federal level anymore these days? But this is the where it becomes less of just an interesting news story, and the rubber actually starts hitting the road. Again, as Matt said, the need is always great this time of year, but with the announcement that SNAP benefits would be halted through the month of November, this is going to put a lot of families in a situation of stress and, to put it bluntly, a lack of food throughout the month of November. So food pantries are going to be leaned on a lot more, and they're already this time of year seeing their largest workload, if you will. So if you can help, now is definitely the time to do that. Again, as Matt said, financial donations go a lot further. They can buy more with your $1 donation than you can buy at the grocery store with $1, because they can buy in bulk, they can buy tax-free, things like that. But food, cans, things like that in your pantry that you're not using, and also, of course, volunteering your time for specific projects like the school lunch backpack program, or just asking if they need some help there at the pantry warehouse, distribution, things like that. This is serious, folks. These are a lot of families. These are a lot of families that are, doing their best to get by and dig up out of a situation. Maybe somebody unexpectedly lost a job or got laid off, and they rely on SNAP benefits, and now those benefits are not going to be coming as we start into the holiday season. So help Matt and crew at the Food Pantry out. Also, if you're listening from outside of Cache Valley and want to look for a more local location, visit the Utah Food Pantry website. I've linked to that on our Facebook page, and visit the various websites for your local area. You'll find where their need is the greatest. But again, this was a bit of a surprise coming weeks earlier than expected, and also something that, as the food pantries here in Utah have said, the statewide, and as Matt told us there, the food pantries can't absorb all of this need, and yet the need is going to exist. So it's going to be upon the community to really step up. So more information at the Cache Food Pantry website. I've linked to that on our Facebook page, or if you're listening outside of Cache Valley, visit the Utah Food Pantry website and find out where the need is greatest in your local area and how you can help. And Matt, thank you again. We'll check back in with the Food Pantry as we get closer to the Thanksgiving holiday and see if their specific needs have changed. And stick around. More of For the People after this look at the news with KVNU's Will Feel Right.
Thank you, Jason. New research from the Utah Women in Leadership Project at Utah State has revealed high levels of body image insecurity among Utah girls, and it's highlighting the state's significant engagement with cosmetic surgery. Now, founding director Dr. Susan Madsen reported that 96% of Utah girls ages 14 to 19 have experienced appearance-based cyberbullying, and 92% have considered changing their looks. Now, Dr. Madsen noted that constant focus on external appearance has influenced these perceptions. Now, the study also found that Utah ranks 10th in the nation for board-certified plastic surgeons per capita, and it leads the nation in Google searches for breast augmentation. Now, Dr. Madsen suggested that social cohesion, including shared religion and race, contributes to higher rates of cosmetic procedures due to increased social competition. Now, Madsen is hoping that the findings will encourage the promotion of more positive messaging around women's bodies. Well, the Franklin County Republican Party is hosting a Meet Your Candidate night coming up tomorrow night and will allow residents to interact with local candidates ahead of the November 4th municipal election. Now, the event is scheduled for Saturday at 7 o'clock in the City Council room that's located at 70 West Oneida Street in Preston. Now, candidates for Preston, Clifton, and Weston will be featured. Now, those vying for seats on Preston City Council include Chris Larson, Dixon Beckstead, along with Andrew Brown, Todd Thomas, and Joshua Harris. Now, the event will also include candidates for the Franklin County Fire District, Cody Traveler and Levi Waldron, and the Preston School District trustee in Zone 3, Jesse King and Mason Jensen. Now, along with that, the Clinton City Council candidates will make an appearance, including Chick Lignell, Eldon Tolman, Corey Robinson, Bracken Henderson, and Della Hughes. Now, for those who are unable to attend the gathering, it will be streamed live on the Franklin County Republican Committee's Facebook page. And a traffic alert to be aware of coming up tomorrow morning. The annual Brigham City Sheep Trail will be taking place as approximately 2,200 sheep will be herded through the mouth of Sardine Canyon and into Brigham City before reaching before reaching winter pastures over in Bear River City. Now, it's a tradition that dates back to the 1930s. The event will begin right around 8 a.m. near the Fish Hatchery Road in Manaway. The sheep are expected to later arrive in Brigham City about an hour later at 9 o'clock. The herd will travel down Highway 8991 through Box Elder Canyon and then proceed on to 600 East over to 600 North. The sheep will then turn left onto 600 North, crossing Main Street. The trail will then continue west out towards Corinne and Bear River City. Now, residents and motorists are anticipated to expect delays and some traffic impacts as the sheep will make their way down through town and out to Bear River City. And a new report from the Kempsey Gardner Policy Institute is projecting that 70.6% of Utah's jobs will require some form of post-secondary education by the year 2031. Now, that underscores the sustained demand for a skilled workforce. Now, the research commissioned by Envision Utah links higher educational attainment to better health outcomes, lower poverty, and greater civic participation. Now, Utah currently ranks third in the nation when it comes to post-secondary completion with a rate of 61.7%. Travis Allred, meanwhile, senior education program manager at Envision Utah, said that this research reinforces that higher education will continue to be a reliable path for getting a good job. However, the report also noted a critical need to address educational disparities among various demographic groups within the state. Author Andrea Brandley emphasized that increasing attainment and aligning credentials with workforce needs are essential strategies for expanding opportunities and sustaining Utah's economic momentum. Well, weather-wise, going to continue to enjoy clear skies through the rest of the afternoon as we've been in the low 60s today. Tonight, we'll drop into the mid-30s, then more sunny skies to start off the weekend tomorrow as temperatures will be back into the mid-60s. We'll start to see some clouds coming in Saturday night. That's going to bring a chance of some showers that will continue into Sunday as temperatures will finish off the week in the low 50s. Heading into Monday is when it really is going to start getting colder. High is going to be only around the mid-40s with a mix of snow and rain to start out the work week. Looks like the storm should clear out, though, by Monday night, and we'll be back to sunny skies by Tuesday. And, of course, the programming note, as we've been talking about, coming up this afternoon, it's high school playoff action as Logan facing off against Richfield. That game will kick off at 5 o'clock, and our pregame show will begin right about 4:50 here on KVNU. And I'm Will Feelwright with your KVNU News headlines, brought to you this hour by Allen Law Office. Jace Allen is Northern Utah's estate planning attorney. Give him a call today at 435-227-5468.
ABC News, I'm Mike Dubusky. Canadian Premier Doug Ford now says his province, Ontario, will pull down a political ad in the coming days that caused President Trump to suspend trade talks. The ad includes clips of President Ronald Reagan criticizing trade tariffs. Still no end in sight to the government shutdown, now at day 24. ABC News congressional correspondent Jay O'Brien.
Rinse and repeat. Government funding legislation goes to the Senate floor, the same bill that passed out of the House, and it gets 3 Senate Democrats to vote for it, but nowhere near the needed number of Senate Democrats to get it over the goal line, and it fails. That has happened now 12 more times, and we expect that to start happening when the Senate returns here to Washington early next week as well. There's no deal in sight. There are no negotiations happening, and there aren't really any signs of negotiations that might even start.
500,000 federal workers missed a paycheck today, and the Pentagon is sending an aircraft carrier to the waters off the coast of South and Central America.
Bringing Wall Street to Main Street. From your local experts in downtown Logan, this is the Adams Wealth Advisors Market Report.
Hi, this is Brooke with Adams Wealth Advisors. U.S. stocks ended the session with a clear uptick after a softer-than-expected inflation print for September, with the annual rate coming in near 3.0%. The S&P 500 rose about 0.8%, the Dow Jones Industrial Average gained roughly 1%, and the Nasdaq Composite added around 1.1%, each setting new all-time highs. Investors appear to respond to hopes for further rate cuts by the Federal Reserve and rotated back into large-cap tech and growth names. Market breadth leaned positive overall amid broad strength. Technology and growth-oriented names led the charge. Energy stocks also saw some lift as investors weighed inflation and yield dynamics. In corporate headlines, Intel Corporation jumped after reporting stronger-than-expected earnings and announcing cost-cutting measures. Ford Motor Company gained following solid quarterly results driven by pickup and SUV sales. Meanwhile, Decker's Outdoor Corporation slumped after issuing a weak sales outlook despite a decent quarter. Treasury yields eased after the CPI release, with the 10-year hovering just under the 4% mark. The dollar pulled back modestly, gold edged lower after yesterday's surge, and oil prices held near recent highs following new U.S. sanctions on Russian energy firms. Economic data was limited beyond the CPI report, which showed price growth moderating more than expected in September. Looking ahead, investors will turn their attention to next week's GDP and PCE inflation releases, as well as another heavy stretch of corporate earnings.
That's your update from Adams Wealth Advisors, guiding your financial future one day at a time. For personalized help planning yours, reach out to us at 435-752-1702. See you soon, Cache Valley. Advisory services offered through Adams Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor. For important disclosures and more information, visit adamswealthadvisors.com.
Welcome back to KVNU's For the People. Again, a short show today. In about 10 minutes, we will hand the reins over to the whole crew involved with making this happen. The live broadcast of Logan at Richfield in the first round of 3A football playoffs. That's starting at 4:50 with the pregame, kickoff at 5, broadcasting throughout the evening here on KVNU 610 AM, 102.1 FM. And a quick rundown again of what you can listen to here. This actually started about an hour ago. 4 o'clock kickoff for the first round of 4A football playoffs. Skyview versus Juan Diego. That is broadcasting as we speak on 106.9 FM, 1390 AM. Again, Logan at Richfield here on KVNU in about 10 minutes. We'll get to the pregame on that. Mountain Crest versus Uinta, also first round of 4A football playoffs. That's starting in about an hour, 5:50 on 107.7 FM. And Green Canyon versus Desert Hills in the first round of 4A football playoffs. That's starting in about an hour at 5:50 on 100.9 Light FM. And finally, Bear River at Timpanogos in the first round of the 4A football playoffs, starting in about an hour at 5:50 on 104.9 The Ranch in Box Elder County. So, big day for high school football and the playoffs underway. So, this is one we didn't get to earlier this week. This was on Cache Valley Daily yesterday, and it's worth highlighting because I think Governor Cox, this is one of the things he deserves a lot of credit for in his time as of governor, making this a priority and seeing it actually kind of come about. Now, granted, this is a Wallet Hub, another one of those Wallet Hub rankings, and take them with a bit of a grain of salt because this is a financial company that does these rankings to keep their name in the news so you know who they are. And it's worked, so more power to them. We all know we all know the name Wallet Hub, even if we don't know what they do, right? But these rankings are credible. They don't want to be known as a joke, so they put a lot of work into them. But they don't dig very deep. So there's more you could get into on this, but it's I think something that Utah should be patting itself on. Utah leaders should be patting themselves on the back for. Utah was named one of the nation's most energy efficient states, and that we rank 7th overall. We're in the top 10 for energy efficiency. We placed 5th nationwide in home energy use, 9th in vehicle fuel efficiency, 23rd in transportation efficiency. Now, keep in mind, this is different from pollution and air quality. What they looked at here is ownership of fuel-efficient vehicles, replacement of old equipment, and general energy use in the home. That's what they were looking at here. And that's why I say grain of salt a bit, because when you see a headline like most efficient state, you're like, oh, they must be polluting very little too. No, unfortunately, we do not rank in the top 10 on that one. We drive a lot, maybe more than we all need to, right? But this is good news. The governor set this as a goal. Actually, to be honest, this goes back to Governor Herbert. And then Governor Cox has kind of kept it going and rebranded the campaign. But it was a campaign to get Utahns to think differently about fuel efficiency and climate change and pollution and all of that by focusing on talking to people about saving money, which, of course, gets everyone's attention immediately, right? And it was there were a lot of skeptics at the time. I was one of them. But it appears to have worked. If you dig into some of the trends, including here in Cache Valley, people have, again, whether they're doing it for the planet and to combat climate change, whether they're doing it to improve air quality in the winter here in Utah or in the summer as well, unfortunately, now that's the thing too, or whether they're doing it just to save a buck, who cares, right? As long as people are doing it. But it does appear that Utah has widespread adoption of more efficient home heating and electricity options. Now, part of this as well is the governor's push to get cities to get more creative, to adopt all of the above energy portfolio for the state, with really pushing geothermal into the mix and ramping up the percentage of Utah's overall energy consumption that comes from natural gas, which is much cleaner than coal and things like that. So this has been a long, lengthy project, but again, it kind of appears to be working. Wallet Hub analyst Chip Luo said energy efficiency doesn't just help the planet, but it also saves you money, of course, no-brainer there. And it's greatly lowering the amount of electricity coming from gas, oil, and other types of energy, high-polluting energy production means. So they had some tips in this as well, and we've heard most of these, but some steps you can take in your own home for energy efficiency, and where you live, honestly, is the biggest one, and a lot of people, aren't interested or maybe can't change that just to be more energy efficient. But, there are some basic things. The weather stripping and caulking around your windows in the wintertime, you would be surprised how much less pollution that puts into the air. Seems totally unrelated, right? But it's a big part of it. The more efficient your home, the less heat you have escaping and cold air getting in, causing that furnace to run more, the less fuel you're burning, and you're actually cleaning the air. LED bulbs, better insulation, programmable thermostats, they can actually impact your costs and heat or fuel consumption by about 25%. So that's a pretty big deal as well. Now, noted by Eric Franson in the story at CashValleyDaily.com, Cache Valley is included in this, growing statewide efforts to combine renewable energy adoption. Local governments, Logan City, to point out as well, just recently announced, that they're buying into a pretty big solar program, which means not only cheaper rates for Logan residents on their power bill, but also that fuel is coming from much cleaner sources. A solar array with a battery backup to hold the energy when the sun goes down, things like that. And these are being adopted by local governments throughout the state with encouragement from the governor's office. Local governments and utilities have also encouraged residents to take some of the steps I mentioned, upgrading your heating and air conditioning systems to more efficient systems, making sure that your insulation's in good shape or replaced if need to be. And then, of course, energy-efficient rebates that are offered through both Dominion Energy and Rocky Mountain Power. Now, we didn't win. Vermont was first. New York and Massachusetts second and third. So we weren't number one in the nation, but top 10 is actually pretty good. And like I say, whether this is happening because the hippies in Vermont want to save the planet, I'm kidding. But it's still funny to say. Or whether it's Utahns thinking more about their pocketbook and the money they can save on their heating bill. Seventh in the nation for energy efficiency is, I don't know. I think something we can go ahead and be proud about, regardless of why people are doing it. So the governor responded to this as well in a question from the Deseret News. He was asked if he wanted to do any back patting over this, because again, this was kind of Governor Herbert's push initially, and then Governor Cox, keeping it up after that, and the Governor Cox said, absolutely, I will crow about this. We've put a lot of work into this. We've pushed and pushed to expand Utah's energy portfolio and to educate the public on ways they can improve air quality and maintain quality of life here in Utah while saving a buck at the same time. And in fine Utah fashion, the governor said, people have responded. And it's better for the planet. It's better for our pocketbooks. It's better for the long-term economic outlook of states like Utah. And absolutely, I'm going to take a few moments to be proud, not just of our work here in my office, but the state and all of its people. So pretty cool thing. Check it out. Full story, again, at CashValleyDaily.com. Response from the governor via the Deseret News. And congrats, Utah, number 7 in the nation for energy efficiency. Pretty cool. All right, that's our show for today. Wrapping up a bit early here as we hand the reins over. Logan High football up next here on KVNU. Logan at Richfield in the first round of 3A playoffs starting in just a few minutes. Kickoff at 5, and we'll be back with more of For the People Monday. Stick around here.
Your voice for news and talk is right here on your radio. Breaking news and stimulating talk. KVNU Logan, 610 AM and 102.1 FM.
Welcome to a presentation of Logan High School sports on KVNU 102.1 FM, 610 AM, and CashValleyDaily.com. Brought to you by Advanced Heating and AC, Cache Valley Auto Care, Les Olson IT, Lana Powell State Farm, Old Grist Mill, Adams Wealth Advisors, DD Auto Salvage, Preston Watts Auto Collision, Planet Fitness, Napa Auto Parts, Young Automotive, Logan Coaches and Boosters, and Cache Valley Daily. Now, it's time for the Logan Grizzlies on KVNU.
This is Craig Adams. At Adams Wealth Advisors, we are here to help you receive peace of mind whether you've done a lot of planning or a little planning. Count on our team at Adams Wealth Advisors for honesty, professionalism, and integrity.
Visit AdamsWealthAdvisors.com or call 752-1702 to schedule a time with an advisor today.
No matter how cold it is outside, you can keep warm and toasty inside with a quality-built, super-efficient York furnace. Call Advanced Heating and Air Conditioning at 752-7272. Online at advancedheating-ac.com.
Now is the time to head over to Cache Valley Auto Care, because when your car isn't working right, you just need someone who can help make your life a little easier. Cache Valley Auto Care, behind Home Depot on 200 East, 1175 North.
DD Auto and Salvage is going to pay you the most for junk vehicles. Get rid of your junk vehicles today. Pickup is available. DD Auto and Salvage in Logan. Call 787-1204. That's 787-1204 today. See store for details.
Old Gristmill on South Main Logan, 4th North Logan, and now Smithfield offer Cache Valley that famous lunch special and natural bread baked the right way. Get your made-to-order lunch or baked goods at Cache Valley's Best of Northern Utah gold-winning bakery. The Old Gristmill, here for you.
I'm Lana Powell, and my team and I are here to make insurance simple.
Because we live right here in your community.
And if the unexpected happens, you'll have neighbors you can count on.
Come see us at Lana Powell State Farm, here to help life go right.
All right, welcome back here to Richfield High School. We're about, 8 minutes from kickoff between Logan and Richfield, first round of the 3A playoffs. And they're out for the coin toss, and we want to talk about some of the Richfield Community Pharmacy keys of the game. They believe their customers belong to their family. Let them provide you with the convenient professional service you and your family deserve. They're located at 440 South Main Street in Richfield. And what did the coach from Logan, what did he say were the keys of the game?
Coach Butts said that the main key to the game was stopping Richfield's run attack. And I would agree with him. I think I think if you're able to stop their run, make them into a one-dimensional team, make them pass and make plays throwing the ball. And he also emphasized that he really likes his safeties. So, if your strength is in the secondary, let's get them to throw the ball and see what we can do to make some plays.
That's the Richfield Pharmacy, Community Pharmacy keys of the game. Also, will be for Logan. We'll be giving you also Young Automotive. Think young, drive young. Multiple dealerships in Cache Valley and throughout northern Utah. Also, the Logan High coaches. Logan High School would like to say thanks to all their generous sponsors for their support of Logan High football, and that's just some of our sponsors. We'll be going through them throughout the game today. Without them, we couldn't bring you high school football. And Logan won the toss. They chose to defer. Richfield's going to receive from the north, going to the south. And we're going to have the national anthem. So we'll take another break. We'll come back with the Richfield Community kickoff and start this ball game. We'll be back.
Hi. Searching for copiers and printers? Les Olson IT has what you need. Find reliable HP printers, award-winning Sharp copiers, and high-end Ricoh graphic systems.
Les Olson IT.
There's nothing quite like a legacy in sports. We come together to watch rivals clash and legends rise. At Young Toyota and Young Honda, we understand the value of tradition, which is why for 100 years, we've delivered exceptional customer experiences. Think young, drive young.
Find the parts and the oil you need to keep your car and equipment running its best at your locally owned Napa Auto Parts. All the best brand names. And when you need professional help, Napa can recommend a dozen Napa Car Care Centers with ASE certified technicians.
Yo, let me just say, I love Planet Fitness.
Try out Planet Fitness and dang, they got lots of equipment.
Did y'all know that the PF app has workouts you can do at home?
All the benefits, all for less. Planet Fitness, big fitness energy for all.
Preston Watts Collision and Glass has been your #1 resource for collision repair and auto glass. We specialize in windshield repairs. Competitive prices, call Preston Watts Collision and Glass at 563-3215. We do it right.
From what's happening in local political elections, to breaking news, to photo galleries and replays of the latest games. If it's happening in our community, it's on CacheValleyDaily.com and the Cache Valley Daily app. Local, relevant news on CacheValleyDaily.com.
Logan High School would like to recognize and thank their sponsors of Logan High Football: Wilson Motors, A&D Landscaping, Cache Valley Bank, Murdoch Chevy, Pool Orthodontics, Factory Student Housing, Ogden Clinic, Vintage Muscle, and Duke Building Company.
This is Craig Adams. At Adams Wealth Advisors, we are here to help you receive peace of mind whether you've done a lot of planning or a little planning. Count on our team at Adams Wealth Advisors for honesty, professionalism, and integrity.
Visit AdamsWealthAdvisors.com or call 752-1702 to schedule a time with an advisor today.
No matter how cold it is outside, you can keep warm and toasty inside with a quality-built, super-efficient York furnace. Call Advanced Heating and Air Conditioning at 752-7272. Online at advancedheating-ac.com.
Now is the time to head over to Cache Valley Auto Care, because when your car isn't working right, you just need someone who can help make your life a little easier. Cache Valley Auto Care, behind Home Depot on 200 East, 1175 North.
DD Auto and Salvage is going to pay you the most for junk vehicles. Get rid of your junk vehicles today. Pickup is available. DD Auto and Salvage in Logan. Call 787-1204. That's 787-1204 today. See store for details.
Let's head back to the field for high school sports action on the Mid-Utah Radio Sports Network and Centricom Team Hive.
Tonight's pregame is brought to you by Snow College. Of course, Snow College with campuses in both Ephraim and in Richfield. And the captains for this afternoon's ball game, for important seniors for Richfield. Number 1, Monty Baldwin. Number 17, Aiden Olson. Number 54, Brigham Wilder. And number 8, Luke Worley. And they... certainly Richfield hoping they get some help from their seniors. For Logan, they're hoping to come down here and pull an upset. And, you know, Richfield's been several years since Richfield's played in an early round game, as well as since they've lost. The last 2 years, they won the state championship 2 years ago, and then Richfield lost last year in the state championship game to Morgan 12-3, 12-2, I think it's 13-2. Anyway, Richfield only scored a safety in that game, and that's the last football playoff game that Richfield has played. Logan did not play in the playoffs last year, and they're just excited to be here. That being said, they have one thing in mind. They definitely talked with confidence, and they're looking to get a win here.
Yeah.